The Dorothy Moulter Museum in Ely preserves Northwood's wilderness heritage, sharing the life and legacy of an Ely area icon. But leaders say its future is now at risk due to an executive order signed just last week. Today, Northern News Now Sophia Lauber learned why museums and libraries in the Northland are worried about funding.
Executive Director Jess Edberg draws parallels between the Dorothy Moulter Museum's current situation and its namesake.
She wasn't an activist, but she was thrust into this federal decision-making process that she had no input in, and it was directly affecting her.
In the 60s, her wilderness property was condemned and purchased by the government. Now, a Trump executive order eliminates several federal agencies, including the Institute of Museum and Library Services.
There doesn't seem to be a lot of explanation about why this particular entity was targeted. So it's very frustrating.
The museum covers operational costs, but depends on grants like those from the IMLS for professional development and improvement projects. The Duluth Public Library is in the same basket. Operational costs are covered by city funding, but they also receive donations and grant money.
So when we see one of those funding arms cut off, it can really impact members of our community in finding those spaces to connect, stay informed, and find enrichment in their lives.
Duluth Library Foundation's Executive Director Erin Krieger says others have more to lose.
What's really concerning is the highest impacted areas will probably be our rural public libraries.
While the executive order calls IMLS an unnecessary agency, some in the Northland say it's well worth saving.
Their work is to support the preservation of our nation's historic places, objects, collections, and that's our history.
In Duluth, Sophia Lauber, Northern News Now.
IMLS provided about $1.5 million to museums and nearly $3.2 million to state library services in Minnesota in 2024.